What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to Game Theory Rosalina Unmasked Part 1 by the Game Theorist. Now, I'm not really sure how Rosalina is going to be unmasked in this. Maybe she... I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. But with that being said, the original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the Game Theorist. Without any further ado, let's begin.
Today we're talking about a Guardian of the Galaxy. A female one. One that has entirely nothing to do with that movie. It's Rosalina. We're talking about Rosalina from Super Mario Galaxy. But yeah, that movie was great, right? I love the part where Star-Lord was like, I'm Star-Lord, and he's all like, pew, 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 pew.
It is a good movie. Oh, I love this intro.
Groot was totally like, I am Groot. Oh, we're on. Hello, internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that really can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Seriously, I have...
And now that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has actually come out, because it came out, when did it come out? I don't know, but I know I saw it. It was pretty good. I don't think it was as good as the first one, though. But, I mean, I still enjoyed it.
Not had that much fun at a movie in a long time. Oh, so good. Sorry, I gotta stay focused. Anyway, let's talk about Rosalina. She's a galaxy-hopping princess with a hairstyle stolen straight from Captain Planet's Dr. Blight. And from her humble beginnings in Super Mario Galaxy, she's starting to appear in everything. 3 main series titles, 4 Mario Karts, a party, a round at the links, and pretty soon the newest Smash. Really? Rosalina and like 15 Fire Emblem characters, and Ness still hasn't been confirmed for the game? Get your priorities straight, Nintendo. But
I don't like Ness, though, so maybe it's a good thing Ness isn't confirmed.
outside of she owns a space station and she looks smoking hot in a biker outfit, what do we really know about this monotone maiden? Nothing. She's an interstellar enigma. Or is she? Who is Rosalina? Have there been clues hidden in plain sight as...
Alright, is it Rosalina or Rosalina? Because I thought it was Rosalina, but he's saying it is Rosalina. But then, you know, if you could look at, like, Super Mario Logan, Mario's girlfriend is Rosalina. Or they say Rosalina, so they don't say Rosalina, so which one is it?
To what her true identity is. Today we're out to solve this maiden's mystery, and what we find throws everything you thought you knew about the Mario universe out the window. Well, except for the fact that he's a sociopath, which is still 100% legit. It seems to me the best place to start is with the bedtime story Rosalina reads throughout Super Mario Galaxy. The story recounts the tale of a sad little girl on a quest to find one Luma's missing mother. Prepare to be shocked. That story is actually about Rosalina herself.
Who would have seen that coming?
What? An earth-shattering revelation, I know. But seriously, where it gets interesting is in Chapter 4, when the story mentions Rosalina's mother. Via the book's illustrations, we get 2 glimpses of her. First, from the back, and then again, the bottom half of her face. Do those hair flips, that mouth shape, the gold crown, and those rounded blue earrings look familiar? Because they should. Peach is Rosalina's mother. Cue the dramatic music.
I didn't know that.
Not quite as dramatic as I envisioned, but okay. No, wait, I can read your mind. But the hair is longer and the dress is blue. That's what you're thinking, right? Right? Be honest. Man, I'm like the geeky version of David Blaine. But I agree, these similarities are very superficial and far from 100% confirmation. That's why it's also worth mentioning the silhouette of the castle that appears in Chapter 7 of the book, when the little girl in the story looks at her former home through her father's old telescope. Notice the 3 prominent spires with the one big one in the middle? Seems an awful lot like typical depictions of Peach's castle, no? Since it's in shadow...
Oh, yeah, it does kind of look... Oh, then again, a lot of castles look like that, right? Like, if you look at, you know, the Disney, the beginning of Disney movies, how... I think it's Disney, right? Where they have the firework going off or whatever. That castle looks similar to this as well. I think that's the way a lot of castles were designed, was you would have the walls, and then you would have, you know, where the actual king would be in the main area, and it would be higher so they could look down over it. I guess. I'm not sure, but I think most castles were designed that way.
Though I suppose it could be just any old 3-spired castle with one very tall one in the center. I mean, I hear those are very popular in the Mushroom Kingdom after all. Hashtag obvious sarcasm is obvious. But If we're going to prove something as huge as Rosalina being the daughter of the first lady of gaming, we need something more than hints. We need something more definitive. We need something scientific. Genes! Ronnie, come on,
What?
let's try it again. Genes! Genetics, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Come on, dude, you're ruining my flow. If Peach and Rosalina are truly related, they should be sharing some physical features, right? And yeah, I mean, obviously they look alike, but we're the game theorists. We can do one better. We can use genetics to show that there's a high statistical probability that the two are related. So let's start with
They also look really similar.
one of Rosalina's most identifiable traits. Her earlobes. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Whether or not your earlobes hang low and wobble to and fro, or are attached to your head, is
Really, you just had to make that joke?
dictated by a simple dominant-recessive gene relationship. You probably did this stuff in school, right? 7th grade bio-sci, anyone? But to recap, you get one
I
set of
hated
genes,
that.
or alleles, from your father and one set from your mother. The combination dictates what trait you show. That's called your phenotype. Phenotype for physical. It's what people see. So for earlobes, dangling earlobes are dominant and attached earlobes are recessive. Let's demonstrate that with a big D and a little d. So as an example, let's say that your father and mother both have one big D allele and one small d allele. By creating a chart called a Punnett square that shows all the possible gene combinations
I was gonna make a joke, but I think it's probably too inappropriate, so I'm not gonna make it.
the child could have, where he gets one gene from each parent, you see that the child is most likely to have dangling earlobes, because 3 out of the 4 scenarios contain a big D. The big D is dominant or stronger and covers up the little d. But if you have 2 little d alleles, one from mom and one from dad, your lobes will be attached, making it the rarer trait. Which is funny because Rosalina, believe it or not, has attached earlobes. Check it out! And that means both her parents would need to possess the small d allele. But how could we possibly figure out the genetic code of fictional video game characters? I'm glad you asked that. Well, you
Did you look at the
start by
parents?
looking at the phenotype. What do Peach's ears look like? Trick is, Peach's ears are normally covered by her ungodly large blue earrings. But Nintendo has been kind enough to show us Peach in her developmental stages. Baby Peach. Baby Peach doesn't have her ears pierced, and thus we can see that she too has attached earlobes. In other words, she possesses 2 small d alleles,
Okay, but who's the father? Is it Mario? Because I think, his ears are attached too, I believe.
increasing the likelihood that her child would also have attached lobes. And that's not all. Look at Mario, who presumably
Yep.
would be the father. Attached
Or it would be Bowser's the father, because, Peach is always getting captured by Bowser.
earlobes again, which means that the child of Peach and Mario would have a 100% chance of also having attached earlobes. Rosalina. And that's not all. What about eye and hair color? Now these things work a little bit differently. Both are polygenic, or controlled by multiple genes. Let's focus on eye color. Eye color happens to be controlled by at least 2 separate genes. The first one, OCA2, comes in 2 forms, brown and blue. The second one, called Guy, also comes in 2 forms, but this time it's green and blue. Now the way this works is in a tiered system, with blue alleles being recessive, green being dominant over blue. Also at least 2 separate genes. The first one, OCA2, comes in 2 forms, brown and blue. The second one, called Guy, also comes in 2 forms, but this time it's green and blue. Now the way this works is in a tiered system, with blue alleles being recessive, green being
Matt, why do you gotta get into all the science here? Why do you have to get into all the science here? As soon as you get into, all this crazy sciencey stuff, it gets way too difficult for me to follow along with. You gotta dumb it down, Matt. You gotta dumb it down.
dominant over blue, and brown trumping them all. Here's a chart mapping out all the possible combinations, and as you can see, blue eyes are super rare because there are so many other genes that overpower those small B's. So for Rosalina to have those piercing blue eyes of hers,
Oh, so it's just, it'd be a slim chance to have those, so that her parents would have to have them, I guess? And Peach has them, too. So that would make sense that Peach would be the mother.
her parents would also need to, well, somebody call Staples, because that was easy.
And Mario has them! They both have the blue eyes. I didn't notice Mario's eye color before.
fact that both Peach and Mario also have blue eyes means that their child would have a very high likelihood of also having bright blue eyes, just like you see in Rosalina. Hair color works in a lot the same way. It's also polygenic. Without getting too detailed, the fact that Peach has blonde hair greatly increases the likelihood her child would also have blonde hair. So to summarize, with genetics, we're talking about statistical odds. And in this case, were Peach and Mario to have a baby, there's a very high likelihood that it would have the same phenotypes that you see in Rosalina. The last huge piece of genetic evidence, though, comes from Rosalina's handedness. Watch all the gameplay footage of her, and you see that she's left-handed. Notice how she prefers to keep her wand in her left hand? In an interesting twist, promotional art for her shows her holding it in her right.
Oh, and is Peach left-handed too or something? Because if so, then it would make sense. Yeah, I think Matt's probably right.
Right hand. But I would assume that this is actually the product of the world's right-handed bias. But that's a can of worms for an entirely different day. For now, let's focus on the genetics. Handedness is weird because it's not like the previous genetic examples. Researchers have
that's trippy. What the frick?
no clear predictors that they've been able to figure out. What scientists do know is that consistently 10% of the world's population is left-handed, and that left-handedness tends to run in families, with the mother's preference being an important factor. On average, the chances of two right-handed parents having a left-handed child are around 10%. Having a right-handed mother and left-handed father keeps that percentage about the same. But having a left-handed mother and right-handed father makes the probability double. Now, looking across games, particularly the sports games, Mario Super Sluggers, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Nintendo's main man is clearly right-handed, no question there. But Peach is actually ambidextrous, good with both her right and left hands, playing baseball and tennis favoring the right, but golfing favoring the left. People born with a left-hand bias at birth are statistically more likely to show ambidextrous qualities later in life. So the likelihood of a couple like her and Mario having a left-handed child like Rosalina is actually greater than most other couples.
Yeah, I think I believe that. Wait, did he say Rosalina right for once? I think Rosalina definitely is, their kid. But I thought this was gonna be like some huge, conspiracy or something like that regarding Rosalina. But it was really just saying, hey, these are her parents.
The only thing that would increase those odds would have both parents be lefties, which increases the probability to 35%. So similar to how we approach TF2's Pyro, not only does Peach match the mother's depiction in the storybook, but statistically speaking, Peach's hypothetical daughter would have a much higher than normal chance of sharing a lot of the same qualities as Rosalina. But there's one final piece to this puzzle. Let's revisit Chapter 7 of Rosalina's bedtime story. We've already talked about the illustrations, but let's talk about the clues buried in the actual text. Quote, "She twisted the knob of the telescope and the blue dot grew until she could make out a grassy hill dotted with flowers. It seemed very familiar to her. Zooming even closer, a terrace on the hill came into view. She remembered rubbing the sleep out of her eyes as she followed her father up that hill to look at the stars."
Oh, her father. Maybe it's gonna give some clues regarding what her father looks like or something like that. Unless it says Mario. Could you imagine? Matt, you wouldn't have had to make this whole video if it said the father was Mario.
So we know that Rosalina's home, that castle we saw in silhouette, isn't far from a good stargazing hill dotted with flowers. Galaxy's opening scene has Mario running to the top of a hill that overlooks Peach's castle, meaning it's close enough to walk to, and has a beautiful view of the stars. It also happens to be lined with flowers, just like the hill described in the storybook. And not
that looks nothing like it, though. That looks nothing like it.
only does it have flowers, but look at the color of the flowers in the illustration. Purple, white, and yellow. Now look at the flowers on Mario's hill at the beginning of the game. Purple, white, and yellow. Now we're getting somewhere. And there's more. Here's an excerpt from when Rosalina's story takes a dark turn. Quote, "She remembered having picnics with her mother on that hill on bright and windy days, and the girl burst into tears. I want to go home. I want to go back to my house by the hill. I want to see my mother." The girl was shouting now, her face wet with tears. "But I know she's not there. I knew all along that she wasn't out there in the sky because
Here we
she's
go.
sleeping under the tree on the hill." The girl's
Oh, so is there a tree on the hill with like a gravestone or something?
cries echoed through the stars, and a hush fell over the area. Like a punch to the gut, the story reveals that the girl's mother has been dead and buried the whole time. In a game like Mario where dying in pits of lava or getting sucked into black holes is pretty much par for the course, knowing that there's a character that has died and is buried is just unsettling. It's a bit eerie. But this passage also provides us another clue as to the geography of this hill. There's a single tree on top of it. Find that tree on top of that stargazing hill that's right down the road from Peach's castle and with the yellow, purple, and white flowers, and you've got yourself a slam dunk. So, I played through the beginning of the game again looking to find that tree and didn't. Theory busted.
No! No! Oh my goodness, I was believing it. Wait, so you made this entire video just to say, got ya? Why, Matt?
Or was it? I remember that the end of the game features one final grand sweeping shot of the landscape around Peach's castle. And would you believe it? At the top of that hill, the hill that Mario just so
right here, this tree? This tree? I don't know.
Happens to start the game at, the hill that matches all the qualities we've been looking for so far. What's at the top of that hill? A single tree. Whew, did you feel that? I just got a chill down my spine. All the signs are there. Peach's hair, earrings, mouth, and crown in the illustrations. The genetic...
Okay, good. I was thinking that Matt had, dragged us along over freaking 12 minutes just to say, fooled you. Right at the end of it. Okay, good. So I guess Rosalina is Peach and Mario's child. The odds are in that, favor.
Contributing to Rosalina's attached earlobes, blue eyes, blonde hair, and left-handedness, and the geography of the stargazing hill with white, yellow, and purple flowers with a single tree on top that Rosalina's mother is buried on. Wait, if Peach is Rosalina...
Oh my goodness, I didn't think of that! I didn't think of that. If her mother is buried and, passed away. So Peach couldn't be the mother unless Peach was dead.
As mother, then that would mean Peach should be buried under that tree.
Exactly.
How is that possible? Clearly I've overlooked something. Or I'm just running out of time and have to save it for part 2. I promise you not only...
There is a part 2. There is a part 2 to this. Okay, good. Good. I need to clear this up because... Peach can't be the mother unless Peach is like a zombie or something. Where, she was dead and then she came back to life or something like that. Everything makes sense to say Peach is the mother, but you can't have her, being alive when she's dead. I need some clarification on this.
Is there an explanation? It's one that perfectly fits with the theme of the game, ties together all the weird, cryptic loose ends present in Super Mario Galaxy, and even begins to offer us some deep philosophical undertones to the Mario franchise as a whole. In the meantime, that's just a theory.
Man, that was freaking crazy. That was freaking crazy. Towards the end there, Matt really, tricked me, I guess. Well, not really tricked me, but made me think that, he had dragged us along just to say, oops, I was wrong. Got ya. But no, it looks like Matt is right. And I guess I'll react to the second part to find out, if Peach is the actual mother, which he said at the end there, says that there's a lot of proof to say so, which I already thought Peach was the mother with all this proof, but then saying that, she should be dead, that kind of puts, I don't know, puts a lot of questions out there. But with that being said, I hope you guys liked this. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share with a friend if you're new, and subscribe to join the family. Also, make sure you guys go subscribe to the Game Theater. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Woo!